People request that I do dueling videos a lot, but I think what a lot of people don't understand is like it's really, really hard to get someone to duel me. And especially even harder to I don't always ask permission, but as time goes on I like to ask more and more, hey, can I use this as an example? So um just keep that in mind, like why I don't do the dueling videos, more of them. They're really, really hard to get video for. People, first of all, don't want to be in them for obvious reasons, and people don't want to. People get real suspicious when I start saying I'll pay gold for money. They know what I mean, for duels. They know what that means. It means I'm looking to make a video out of their class, and they don't. All of a sudden, they don't feel very confident. However, I lucked out because I had this nice hunter, Tructor. Um, he challenged me like out of nowhere. I think he wanted to show his friend that he could definitely deal with a paladin, and it was no big deal. Um, that's what seemed like what was going on, because he actually whispered me and said, I'll give you gold if you practice dueling with me, and I'll pay you if you win, which is usually the opposite of what I'm used to. So, and not only that, after I did win a couple duels, he was nice enough to let me use them for background video, talk about dueling hunters. Okay, so the first couple of things we have to bring up is dueling hunters is different than hunters in PvP, and which is different than world PvP. All three different scenarios are different enough that they change the fight quite a bit. In world PvP, a hunter can run away from you forever, basically. However, when they're running, if you know what you're doing, they will never do enough damage to kill you, which is probably leaving a lot of hunters saying, bull fucking shit, I can kill a paladin. No, you can't. Now, if I went on, I could go on forever literally talking about how to prolong a fight with a hunter and what a hunter can do to prolong a fight with you. I mean, literally, I could probably make an hour-long video easily on that. But let's talk about dueling, because people want to know about duels, and duels are quite a bit different because hunters cannot um, run backwards forever. They have to run side to side eventually. So I'm just going to give you the absolute best ways to fight a hunter, and then maybe we'll scale down into alternative ways that aren't quite as good, that fit your playstyle more. I am not using it exactly in this video, but close enough. I was called out of nowhere, so I'm using my PvE Prot build, which is actually, my gold farming build is actually pretty good against hunters. I would say it was actually, ironically, one of the top three. I mean, if I just changed a few talents, it would be one of the top three talents. I mean, it's not bad. But I think the absolute best in a prepared fight against a hunter is Holy Reckoning, with Illumination, Divine Favor, because if you put a shield on, I mean, if you're running at them, they can't do their abilities that do enough damage. And if they're trying to just get little white hits in, you regen so much mana that they will never be able to kill you. Now, I can get a little low on mana on this. It's because I have absolute dog shit mana regen gear. But if you have, like, even tier 2 and, like, Pennant of the Fallen Dragon and stuff, like, it doesn't take that much. And by the time you're in Redemption, if you get to tier 3 gear and you stack mana regen accessories, the hunter will not be able to kill you. He will not. And it's going to piss hunters off, but it's just true. You can heal in combat. You can life tap off their pet. You can get counters off their pet. You can kill their pet if they just leave it on you. It's very easy to do. You don't really need to do a lot of damage per individual hit, so it doesn't matter if you don't take spell power or plus healing. You just need mana regen. Now, I don't really have that because I don't gear up to fight hunters specifically, but I know a lot of you healers out there are going to have all this gear. The thing is, they're gonna ice trap you, and they're gonna go sit and eat and drink. Literally, with wisdom on, you will mana regen faster than they can even drink. Like your mana bar will go up faster than theirs, ironically. So what's really important is to not be putting up freedom all the time, unless you really need to. Wing clip's the only thing that you need freedom for. And you need to think about it before you do it, because the one thing that will kill your mana more than anything is constantly switching between wisdom and freedom. Okay, so also another reason you want mana regen more than plus healing and stuff is because you will be removing Viper Sting probably 80% of the time with your global cooldown. But I don't know why these hunters never seem to understand that, especially once the Libram comes out for it. Cleanse is actually less mana than their rank 1 Viper Sting. And then on top of that, I mean, with the Libram that comes out later and the mana regen we get and the mana regen they won't be having while they're shooting at you, it's really not even a good deal for them. I'm not sure. It might not even be worth it. I think it still might be worth it because it creates this problem where if you do need to stop and heal yourself while you're healing, the Viper Sting is ticking on you. So, but you actually won't even need to stop to heal very much as long as you keep running at them. Use Devo Aura in these endurance type of fights because, I mean, you just want to take as little damage as possible. Sanctuary is a really good blessing too if you have it, but I still recommend Wisdom. I mean, if the hunter wants to win, he's going to have to keep drawing it out, keep trapping you, keep eating, keep first aiding. And he's probably still going to lose because he's going to realize, what the fuck, you never run out of mana. Two other auras that are viable. When you start a fight in a duel, always start mounted. And you can change your aura while mounted on most servers. And you can on this server like you could in vanilla. But some servers you can't because this is programmed wrong. I would run up on them with Frost Aura on and see if that breaks their trap. I mean, if they have a trap there, it might just get resisted. And another one is Concentration Aura, so you can 100% heal. That one's kind of self-explanatory. But Devo's always also good because over time, it's about making each one of their abilities do less damage for the amount that mana they put into it. So this is one way to fight. Now every druid every hunter who's serious about dueling you will have their anti-stun removal trinket on, their PvP one. So kind of consider throwing stuns out early, just the idea that knowing they're going to trinket out. And maybe not save it for that pivotal moment. I mean, if they keep saving it for the pivotal moment, then they're going to make the pivotal moment happen. So in the end, it doesn't really... I mean, they should probably just trinket out of the first stun. Something I want to bring up next is orcs are a lot harder than any other race. I really feel very confident if I choose my gear with many different specs, I will probably win. I will win unless I'm just really badly outplayed or just massively outgeared, even if I'm massively outgeared. But orc I think orc makes about a 50-50 fight, in just my opinion, in a duel. The stun resist is really strong, can really mess with you. It's hard to hit a hunter. Have high dodge, It might prevent a lot of damage. And they're going to have the PvP trinket on top of it. So, just something to think about. Okay, so I kind of explained the easy way to beat a hunter. Go mana regen, maybe get some sort of healing combat build, take a shield, and preferably, you don't have to have Reckoning, but Reckoning's pretty good too because you're going to be getting hit a whole lot. Reckoning's really good for getting rid of the pet. If they just want to stick the pet on you to control the fight, you can punish the pet really fast, incredibly fast. But let's go over what you're going to have to do more of when you stop using maybe the most optimal specs. You're going to pretty much have to use engineering. not taking engineering versus a hunter is like a hunter not taking a PvP trinket versus a paladin. Like both, like a hunter needs the PvP trinket. It really does. I mean, you can win without it, but it's a lot harder. And vice versa, not having a gnomish net and the ice reflector is huge. Now, some dorks out there are going to say, oh, I like the ice reflector, the ice reflector. Okay, that doesn't really help that much because at the end of the day, you're losing stats for it. And on top of that, if you do ice reflect the ice reflect, it does just gets canceled. So it doesn't still ice reflect the paladin. So repentance is nice, but something people need to realize about repentance builds versus hunters is it's only like what range 30, and hunters actually have farther range than that. So they can still, especially in world PvP where they can run directly backwards, they can punish you pretty bad. Something that's really nice about the frost oil is it procs after all your normal attacks go. So a lot of times when someone feigns death, it like bugs out and it nukes them. So you hit someone, they feign death, and then they put an ice trap down. It separates the timing on which you hit them, so you have a really high chance of ruining their chance to. I guess what I'm trying to say is it can hit someone who's feigned dead, so it ruins their ice. They can't set the ice trap. So if you're not taking Reckoning, you might actually care about your damage in melee, because with Reckoning, even if they have like an Ashgandi slow delay weapon, you will totally wreck their face in melee. But without Reckoning, they kind of can beat you down like in melee. So it's really going to be important that you land your repentance and heal. You trick them and you ice trap them instead of you getting ice trapped. Maybe heal then. It's very not forgiving to play a typical Retribution build, for example. But I'll say this: I think it's completely even. Like the tier 2 regular Ret Pally will probably lose to a full Dragon Stalker Hunter even if played correctly, because that's like their suit and their set bonus. But by the time you get to AQ 40, I think it flips. And then on odds, I think the odds are now in the Ret Pally's favor. So if you're going to do more typical Retribution or like holy something without Reckoning, you're going to have more even gear with them. Whereas I'm pretty sure a Lawbringer Pally can kill a Nax geared hunter. Uh, if you had better accessories than I do in this, all I need would be better mana regen, and I could probably kill a Nax geared hunter quite often, or if I have pretty good odds. If you're not using, and this is really important, if you're not using Reckoning, when you net your opponent, you need to joust them while they're net, because the hunters do actually strike pretty hard in melee, especially when they get enough gear and a good enough weapon. So you need to run in, smack, back out, run in, smack, and also by doing that, you increase your chance that you happen to walk out right when they feign. Especially if they're netted, they might actually miss their frost ice traps. So it's really important that you joust your target while they're netted. Now watch the screen right here. Look at that. This is super important too. You can, if he sets an ice trap and it never gets used because you don't walk on it, at any point you can walk over to where he set the ice trap and use your ice reflector and capture him. That unlocks insane possibilities. And I use it constantly. I'm like, okay, I need to CC him now, and he's really far away. I literally turn around and walk into the trap that he set a long time ago. Bam, ice trap, heal myself. The very best hunters will know how to bob and weave their pet, but that still really won't help them nearly as much as they might think. But a bad hunter who just leaves their pet on you, now this is assuming you have Reckoning, an OP strategy you can do against them is you can Frost Reflect their ice trap. Well, stun them, they'll trinket out, Frost Reflect their ice trap, sit down, get counters, wreck bomb them in their own ice trap, and then If that hasn't killed them, you can rocket helm them, sit down during the rocket helm thing, judge Crusader on them, because hell, they're not going anywhere, so you can judge Crusader, do a Crusader wreck bomb on them, so you get 2 right in a row. And if you really want, you could have done 3, because you could have done World PvP pre-charge wreck bomb, Frost Trap wreck bomb, Rocket Helm wreck bomb. And anytime they scatter you, you could have shielded out of it to make sure you get all 3 wreck bombs in a row. I know it sounds ridiculous, but it really is that simple. Like, the Hunter is just massively overrated against the Paladin. Like, I'll give Hunters it's an even fight. Maybe. Orc Hunter, I feel, is an even fight. Hunters aren't that big of a deal. You just have to have gap closers. So Frost Reflector, reflect their own ice trap, huge. Gnomish Net, huge. Because there's so many orcs, I would use a Discombobulator over grenades because you don't want them to stun resist. Discombobulator Ray, humongous. Anyways, just with this like pretty normal gear, look how much. Watch the screen. I'm going to show you how much damage I can do with just a one-handed wreck bomb on a hunter with 4.5k HP. All right, guys. Deus Vault, enjoy and kill some hunters. They're really overrated.